Lifestyle inflation happens quietly. Almost no one makes a conscious decision to live a more expensive life. There's rarely a moment where you sit down and think, I'm choosing more pressure from now on. Instead, it feels like progress. A slightly better place to live that feels more comfortable. A few extra subscriptions that seem harmless. An upgrade that feels earned after working hard for a while. Nothing reckless. Nothing that feels irresponsible. Just reasonable choices that slowly stack on top of each other. And because each change makes sense on its own, it becomes almost impossible to notice the direction you're moving in. What once felt like a luxury slowly turns into the baseline. Not because you wanted more, but because humans adapt far faster than they realize. That's the quiet mechanism behind lifestyle inflation. As your income grows, your comfort grows with it, and your expectations recalibrate without asking for permission. You don't tell yourself that you want more. You tell yourself that this is simply how life looks now. And that's where the pressure begins. Not because you're spending wildly, but because more and more of your life becomes fixed. Fixed costs, fixed standards, fixed obligations that don't adjust when you're tired, stressed, or having a difficult month. Those costs don't pause. They don't care how you're doing. They just keep arriving. So even when you earn more money, your flexibility doesn't increase the way you expected it to. It slowly decreases. You have less room for error than before, less room for surprises, less room for days that don't go as planned. And when something unexpected happens, your reaction feels stronger than it should. Not because the problem itself is overwhelming, but because there's no slack left to absorb it. This is where confusion starts to creep in. From the outside, your life looks better. You're doing fine. You're earning more. You appear successful. But internally, things feel tighter and heavier than before. You start asking yourself questions that don't have clear answers. Why does this still feel stressful? Why does it feel harder, not easier? Why do I feel like I should be past this by now? And because lifestyle inflation is invisible, you don't question the structure you're living in. You question yourself. You assume you must be mismanaging something, that you should be more grateful, more disciplined, more in control. But nothing is wrong with you. Your life simply became more expensive to maintain, without anyone ever pointing out when that happened. That's the part most people miss. Lifestyle inflation doesn't buy freedom. It buys maintenance. More things that depend on you staying at this level. More systems that require constant input. More responsibility just to remain where you are. So earning more stops feeling like progress. It starts feeling like upkeep. And upkeep without margin always creates tension. This is also why lifestyle inflation is so hard to talk about. It doesn't look like a mistake. It looks like success. Questioning it can feel ungrateful or even irresponsible. So you tell yourself that this is just adulthood, that this is normal, that this is simply how things are now. But normal is often just what you slowly adapted to. And adaptation has a cost. It costs space. It costs calm. It costs the ability to breathe without constantly checking whether everything is still holding. Lifestyle inflation doesn't fail you loudly. It doesn't crash your life. It tightens it, quietly, until one day you realize that you're earning more than ever and still feeling constrained. Not because you made bad choices, but because no one ever teaches you how silently life can grow heavier over time. And once you see that, the pressure begins to make more sense. Not as a personal failure, but as a system that was never designed to slow itself down. And maybe noticing that isn't about undoing everything at once. It's about understanding how pressure slowly builds in the first place. Thank you for watching. If this helped you recognize something in your own life, liking the video helps others find it too. And if you want more videos like this about money, pressure, and the quiet systems underneath, consider subscribing. Till next time.